Because he wasn't incarcerated, she is now dead, his father's now dead, his mother's in a hospital bed.
I don't know why. You're sick. I hope you ride. I hope you ride in jail for the rest of your life.
Just why I do that to my big sister that I love so much.
Do you even have a soul, Jonathan? Do you? Do you know what you killed your own mother?
A $10,000 bond. That's what it cost to free a man charged with torture. 48 hours after he walked out of that jail, 4 people were dead, including the mother who paid to bring him home. Today we're talking about Jonathan Welch, and before we get into what he did, I want you to understand exactly who he took from this world, because these people deserve more than just names at the bottom of a news report. Hey YouTubers, I have seen this case being told wrongly by other crime channels, so I'm going to break it down for you all with facts and footages. Please leave a like, drop your thoughts and share to more true crime lovers. This is Killers Among Us. Let's start with Natalia Morse. She was 24 years old and went by the nickname Sparkles. And if you knew her, you understood why. She was the oldest of 7 siblings, and by all accounts, she was the one who held things together. Loving, driven, always talking about the future and working on herself. Her family described her as someone with real momentum. She had a career. She had goals. She had sisters about to graduate. Natalia was supposed to be there for that. She was talking about coming down for the ceremony. She died the day before they walked across that stage. Her sisters did it anyway, for her. She was not known to have any enemies. What happened to her didn't make sense to the people who loved her. It still doesn't. Just before 3 a.m. on Saturday, June 4th, 2022, a man who later asked to be identified only as John Doe was on the 2nd floor of his home on Lenox Street on Detroit's East Side. From his window, he watched a mid-sized white 4-door sedan stop out front, trunk sitting open. He heard a woman scream, then silence. He called 911.
I'm trying to be as quiet as possible, but I think somebody just shot a woman. She was running down the street, and she was screaming, "Help me!" And I heard a gunshot go off.
What street is that on, sir?
Lenox Street.
But you don't know for sure that she was shot?
I don't know, but after I have a video of the dude's car, and it was a person in the passenger seat, and he ran back to the car, and he closed the trunk. I don't know if she was in the trunk, but his trunk was open. Like she probably got out and took off. But I still hear some crunching, like over across the street in the backyard somewhere.
As he recorded that video from his window, he captured a man running back to the vehicle, closing the trunk and driving off. John Doe waited for police to arrive. That night, they never came. Just after noon the following day, he went to investigate himself. In the vacant lot just inside the vegetation lining the property, he found a body.
Yes, I called about somebody getting shot last night, and the police never came out, and I'm walking down the street, and her body is right here.
What's the location?
Lenox and Canfield.
One moment.
Matter of fact, I got a video of the nigga car who did it, and I'm about to tell you what time I took the video.
Okay.
At 2:52 a.m., probably at 2:50, the lady was screaming help. She was running down the street, and then all you heard was a gunshot. And then it got quiet. And then I called you guys, and y'all ain't shit. And now this lady dead right here by my house.
When Detroit PD arrived, they found drag marks in the dirt leading beyond the edge of a driveway next to the lot. A shell casing on the street. And there, past the overgrown sidewalk, among the trash and foliage, a young woman. Only partially dressed. No ID, no personal items. It would take until the completion of her autopsy the next day to formally identify her, primarily through her distinctive tattoos. The autopsy also confirmed something critical. Although a shot had been fired at the scene, Natalia did not die of a gunshot wound. She had been beaten to death. Blunt force trauma to multiple areas of her body. Investigators canvassed the neighborhood for working security cameras. Not one had activated around 3 a.m. with a useful view of the killer. All they had was that grainy phone video from John Doe's window. They also learned that Natalia drove a white Ford Focus, similar to the car seen on Lenox Street that night. That Focus had been set on fire. When firefighters extinguished the flames and the car was towed, investigators found a backpack in the back seat, only mildly damaged. Inside, her bank cards, personal effects, and her cell phone. That phone became the key. Investigators began mapping her location data from the night she died. Starting around 11:30 p.m. on June 3rd, Natalia's vehicle first drove to Kilbourne Street in the Connor neighborhood, primarily residential. From there, the car made a lengthy stop near 7 Mile and Evergreen. Cameras tracked her movements when she started moving again. Curiously, the car drove back toward Dickerson Avenue, which crosses Kilbourne Street, before eventually heading toward Lenox. Minutes before 3 a.m., the car was captured driving toward Lenox with the trunk already open. By 3:03 a.m., it was fleeing the area. Her messaging history added another layer. On the day she died, Natalia was in contact with multiple men. One of them lived on Kilbourne Street. He was brought in for questioning, cooperated fully, offered his DNA, took a polygraph, and was cleared. He had not seen Natalia in days and had never been in her car. But detectives were already looking at someone else in that messaging history. Someone who had also been on Kilbourne Street that night. Someone who had generated a police report just 2 days earlier. 23-year-old Jonathan Lamont Welch. Zlayiah Frazier was 22 years old, one of 7 kids. She ran her own boutique called Snowbish. She was in nursing school. She was modeling, raising a baby, and somehow managing to thrive in all of it at the same time. Her mother, Trina Harris, said Zia had her reasons for wanting to become a nurse. She had a brother who'd battled cancer and a sister with cerebral palsy. She'd seen up close what good care looked like. She wanted to be the person providing it. At Lincoln High in Warren, she was on the homecoming court every year. People were drawn to her. That's just what happened when you were around Zia. In March 2021, she gave birth to a baby boy. If you followed her Facebook, you saw the mother she was. She posted pictures, wrote captions, talked about the life she was building for him. In one post, she wrote directly to her son, "I don't consider being a mother an easy task. Did I take a risk with my life having you? Indeed, but I needed to grow. I needed to look at life different. I needed a bigger passion. Giving you a head start will always be my mission. Just keep Mummy's name alive, baby. You're the firstborn of greatness. Mummy and Daddy building this empire for you. I got you for life." The daddy she mentioned in that post was Jonathan Welch. Jonathan and Zia had been together since high school. She was 16 when they started dating. He was 17. 6 years later, their son was born. They had bought their first home together. From the outside, it looked like everything was going right. But Jonathan's jealousy had been building for years. Zia had started posting more on social media. Pictures of herself, her boutique, her life, trying to grow her brand. For a young business owner, that online presence was necessary. Jonathan saw it differently. He saw men in the comments calling her beautiful. He saw the attention she was getting, and he couldn't handle it. He accused her of wanting that attention, of talking to other men, of cheating. He started demanding access to her phone, her messages, her DMs, her call log. When Zia refused, the arguments turned physical. He would hurt her, then apologize. She'd forgive him, and it would happen again. By June 2022, the violence was escalating. She felt like she'd built a home with this man for 6 years. Leaving meant starting over with nothing. So she stayed. On June 10th, 2022, Jonathan was apprehended on an arrest warrant with homicide listed as the central charge. Because while he'd been sitting in that cell, investigators had already connected him to Lennox Street. His DNA had been swabbed. They were waiting on results. But when he appeared before Magistrate Don White on June 12th, 10 days after the attack on Zia, only the assault and torture charges were presented. The bond was set at $100,000 with a 10% cash option. $10,000. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office released a statement saying the bond was inappropriate and that they planned to push for a higher bond once they gathered all the evidence. They were working toward the preliminary examination, the moment when they could lay everything out in front of a judge. They didn't get that chance because there was something nobody in that courtroom knew. 2 days before Jonathan's arrest for torturing Zia, on June 4th, he had already killed someone, and investigators were still working to prove it. On July 8th, 2022, Flossie Nicole Bray posted the $10,000 bond and brought her son home. Flossie Nicole Bray was 57 years old. She worked as a medical transporter. She lived in Harper Woods with her husband Robert on Kenosha Street, a quiet residential block just outside Detroit. She was the kind of mother who showed up. When Jonathan was in that jail cell, she was the one who found a bail bondsman. She was the one who covered the 10%. She brought her son home. Robert Bray Jr. was 70 years old, an Air Force veteran, a licensed practical nurse, a man who, by his daughter Robin's account, didn't argue and didn't fight. Just a sweet, kind-hearted man. He had just beaten lung cancer. On the 4th of July, 6 days before he died, Robin FaceTimed him after his surgery. He looked good. He was moving around. He was happy. 6 days later, he was gone. Jonathan was released to that home on Kenosha Street under GPS monitoring and house arrest. On July 10th, 2022, Flossie called Zia. She told her she wanted to see her grandson and asked if Zia could bring him to the house. There was a restraining order in place. Zia had been compelled to bring the child regardless. That evening, she got in her car with her 18-month-old son and drove to Kenosha Street. Jonathan was there. Robert was there. Flossie was there. And Zia walked into that house. At 8:14 p.m., from inside one of the bedrooms, Zia called 911.
Held hostage. You're being held hostage. My house father. My house father, he is trying to kill me.
Is he at the house right now?
Yes.
And how is he trying to kill you?
Okay, he's not letting me leave the house. His mother is hiding me in the room.
Okay, is he at the location?
Yes.
And is he trying to harm you?
I haven't been able to leave out the house.
For how long?
Screams could be heard in the background. Then the call dropped. 2 minutes later, a neighbour called. Flossie Bray had stumbled through their front door and collapsed in the entranceway. A knife still lodged in her back.
Hey, I need an ambulance ASAP. 20641 Kenosha. I have a woman in my house who was dead of that.
Ma'am?
Yes.
What's your address?
Back. She's passing out.
Okay, alright, I'll have an ambulance on the way.
Who did this to you? Who did this to you?
Officers responded to the neighbour's address. They found Flossie on the floor just inside the door, barely conscious, fighting for her life. A neighbour was kneeling over her, keeping a hand near the knife in her back.
That's what I'm saying. They got to get here. Hurry up.
Stabbing the whole family.
Where's he at? What house?
What house? What house? Come on, baby. Stay with me. What house?
Come on. Talk to me.
Hey, come on.
I can't move that knife because it'll only make it worse.
Right. I know she wants me to get the fan on her and get ice water, but I can't move her. I can't let go of her because it'll go right in her back.
Flossie was communicating, but she couldn't answer the most critical question. Which house had she run from? The neighbours had only seen each other in passing. They didn't know for certain where she lived. As additional officers arrived, they walked neighbours through the block until someone pointed them to the green house. 206 Kenosha. Blood was already on the door. Before anyone could reach the house, they saw smoke coming from inside, toward the back from the kitchen. The fire had been set. Seconds later, movement in the backyard. A 1-year-old boy had been dropped from a window onto the grass, naked, while the house burned. Neighbours watched it happen.
Dropped the baby on the grass.
Because he was going back in to do stuff?
Yeah, and the baby was naked. While the house was on fire. This all was happening while the house was on fire.
Officers pulled the child from the yard. He was taken to a nearby hospital, unharmed. The fate of Zia and Robert remained unknown. Then, gunshots from inside the house. 4 to 5 shots fired from the front window and east side window, where 2 officers were positioned. At least 2 rounds struck a house across the street. The Wayne County Special Response Team was called. Firefighters were held back by the gunfire. Flames could be seen toward the back of the building, periodically calming, then building again. Smoke continued to fill the structure. For the next several hours, negotiators tried to talk Jonathan out. Random gunshots were fired into the street. The standoff stretched through the evening. Just before dusk, Jonathan Welch appeared at the front door. Boxer shorts, hands up. He crawled on his belly down the front steps and across the yard toward officers waiting in the street.
Keep moving. Keep coming to me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yep, you're doing a good job, man. Let's go. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. Behind this fire truck. Behind the fire truck. Let's go. Let's go. We just want to help you, man. Keep coming. Let's go. Let's go. You got a gun on you? No, sir. No? Cuff him. Cuff him. Don't make a move. You gotta reach right in your fucking pocket. I will shoot you.
He cuffed me. I'm not doing nothing. Don't resist me. Head down. He cuffed me, officer. He cuffed me.
Who else is in that house? Who else is in that house? Your father and girlfriend? Who's got the gun?
I don't got a gun, sir. Fire, fire.
When he was secured and asked who else was inside, Jonathan told officers his father had the gun. He claimed the household had descended into a family brawl, that his father and Zia had gotten into it, that he stepped out of the shower to intervene. He claimed self-defense. He had no explanation for how the fire started. He appeared slightly wet when he came out, as though he had recently showered. Clothing was observed on the stovetop. Handcuffed, he was taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation treatment. Once the special response team could safely enter the house, they found Zlayiah Frazier just inside the front door. She had suffered severe head trauma, multiple blows made with a hard object, possibly a hammer. She was gone. Robert Bray Jr. was found at the east side entrance, near where the fire had been burning at its strongest. He had also been struck, likely with a hammer. He had also been stabbed. He was gone. Investigators recovered the handgun that had been fired at officers. It was the purple and black Taurus 9mm, Flossie's registered firearm, temporarily seized during her questioning weeks earlier and returned to her. Flossie remained in the hospital, critical condition. Days later, she was put on life support. She did not survive. 3 victims from one house in 48 hours. 3 days after the massacre, Jonathan sat down with Harper Woods detectives. He was cooperative on the surface. He claimed Zia and their son had been living at the house on Kenosha for weeks before July 10th. He claimed his relationship with everyone was, quote, pretty good. He said he had no idea how the fire started. His version of events attempted to account for the knife, the hammer, and the gun, blaming each on a family argument that spiraled out of control. Detectives laid it out for him plainly.
Said to us via 911, because she was able to call 911, and your mom said to us specifically when we arrived, and to include me, I was one of the first ones to arrive. Okay, so Zlayiah calls 911 and indicates that she was hiding in a bedroom and can't leave, that your mom was protecting her from you, and you were trying to kill her, and you had a knife.
How my mama protecting her from me, and my mama got a licensed gun?
Right, but
that don't make sense.
Analyzing the evidence we recovered from the house. You know, for instance, your mom's gun, the knife, the hammer, the lighters, and all those items I just told you about, Jonathan, the knife that we got out of your mom's back, the purple and black gun, the hammer, and the lighters that we recovered from the living room, every one of those items, Jonathan, has your DNA on them. Every one of them.
Jonathan had no answer for that. Then, on August 2nd, the DNA results came back from the Natalia Morse case. Jonathan was a match. His DNA was found inside her Ford Focus and on her person. 4 murder charges, plus attempted murder for firing at officers. On November 1st, 2023, Jonathan Welch stood before Wayne Circuit Judge Margaret Van Heaton. He pleaded guilty to all 4 murders. Natalia's mother, Chastity Morse, was in that courtroom. It had taken investigators until March 2023, 9 months after Natalia was killed, to connect Jonathan to her daughter's death. Chastity had spent those 9 months not knowing.
Driven, she was smart, beautiful. I wonder why. You're sick. I hope you ride. I hope you ride in jail for the rest of your life.
Natalia's sister Aaliyah said what the entire family felt.
No, it honestly kind of doesn't really make any sense how they have any connection whatsoever. So did he deserve a bond? No, especially that low. It's absurd. I'm honestly speechless. Definitely needs to become a big major thing because this happens all the time, you know. So much could have been prevented if they would have really looked at the bigger picture. You're a threat to the community.
Trina Harris, Zia's mother, addressed the court directly.
Frazier lived to tell me the horrible things he did to her. He treated her like she was nothing but trash. 39 days later, my daughter Zlayiah was dead. I tried so hard to keep this monster away from my daughter for years, yet I failed.
It hurts because we let him in, and he took something from us that he can't give back.
Judge Van Heaton sentenced Jonathan Welch to 45 to 70 years in prison for the murders of Zia, Flossie, and Robert. She sentenced him to 20 to 40 years for the murder of Natalia Morse. The sentences run concurrently. Judge Kenneth King, who arraigned Jonathan after the Harper Woods murders, had called it plainly at the time, the court's worst nightmare.
He was given a chance with bond at that time and took his freedom as an opportunity to finish the job and kill victim Frazier.
Magistrate Don White never responded to media requests for comment. The chief judge at 36th District Court never responded either. No explanation, no accountability, no consequences. Our deepest condolences to the families of Natalia Morse, Zlayiah Frazier, Robert Bray Jr., and Flossie Nicole Bray. To Zia's son, who was dropped from a window at 1 year old, who will grow up with no memory of his mother's face. We hope the people around him make sure he knows exactly who she was. A woman who was building something. A woman who loved him before she even knew how to explain it. A woman who wrote him a letter about greatness and meant every single word. And to anyone watching this who sees themselves in Zia's story, the phone demands, the jealousy, the apologies that come after the hitting. Abuse is not love. He demands your phone, he's controlling you. He gets jealous of your success and it turns violent. He hits you once, he'll do it again. Leave. Don't wait for it to get worse. Zia did everything right after June 2nd. She escaped. She called police. She went to the hospital. She told investigators everything. She pressed charges. The system was supposed to protect her. It failed her. Don't let it be the only thing standing between you and safety. Bond reform is one of the most debated issues in the justice system. Cases like this intensify that debate. Some argue cash bond creates inequality. Others argue it can underestimate danger. What is clear is this: 4 families lost someone they loved, and the warning signs were there. This has been Killers Among Us, because sometimes the most dangerous threats aren't strangers in the dark. They're already inside the system. If you found this case informative, consider subscribing for more deep dive true crime documentaries. And as always, tell me your thoughts in the comments. Should he have been granted bond?